It's approaching the most wonderful time of the year. And of course that isn't Christmas, duh. It's Halloween because of Fright Nights. With it being just a week away from when I'm going to hopefully release this video, I thought it would be good to make a video about what's different this year, details and who it's suitable for, and what is suitable for different people. The majority of Thorpe Park's scare attractions are recommended for those over the age of 13. This doesn't mean that people underneath the age of 13 can't have a good time though. There are still scare attractions there which are less, aggressive, such as Creature Campus, the Crows of Mawkin Meadow, Lucifer's Lair, and they can still do the scary attractions anyway if they're brave enough. Overall, it doesn't really matter. Everyone can visit Fright Nights. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be scared out of your mind. In fact, you can pick up your own no scare lanyard and even walk through scare zones with this on. As I have just talked about age, it's probably a good idea to mention that if you're underneath the age of 15, you cannot experience the It 4D experience for obvious reasons. This year's maze lineup is Trailers, Survival Games, Stitches and DeadBeat, with Trailers and Survival Games having new scenes. I will start with Trailers, as I would argue that this is probably the tamest out of all four of the mazes. Trailers is a very simple concept. It's like going into a cinema come to life, but with horror movies. You have little break sections in between every single movie which you go inside of, and lighting wise, it is pretty strong in there and it's rated like the top of the sensory rating. Inside this maze, actors will not touch you, but of course they are going to get close to you, they're going to shout at you, and there's different types of actors in there. There'll be ones that are quiet, there'll be ones that will yell, as I just said, and there'll be ones that basically just like zombies. Like, they're different types of actors through. It's not like a continuous theme like the other mazes. I can't give much information on the new scenes, of course, as we don't really know what they are, or what consists inside them, but I do know that they are going to include the air cannons from last year, meaning that basically strong cannons of air. It's in the name, for God's sake. This maze has things such as dolls, clowns, and other sort of fears that way. They play upon very stereotypical fears and etc., and it's actually really effectively done, but it's not over the top terrifying. I'd say that if you are going to Fright Nights in a slightly nervous disposition, then I reckon this maze is mostly suitable for you. It's probably the best starting point to go from maze-wise. If you go in with people, you won't be split up. It's not like a complex route. It's very easy to know where to go. Next, I'm going to talk about Stitches, which I'd say is probably, for most people anyway, the next step up. Just like in Trailers, actors won't touch you. It's a simple route, however it is more claustrophobic, it's more like enclosed spaces, and it's also pretty realistic inside there compared to Trailers. There's also the factor going into it that this is basically the park's nightmare fuel kind of like scare attraction. It's dolls and toys and things like that, terrifying toy maker, whole story with her. It's like corrupted evil inside there. There's like moving toys, people dressed up as toys, people half human, people half toy. It's basically kind of, as I more or less kind of specified, it's basically their attempt at their pure terror. This doesn't necessarily make it horrifyingly bad though. It is still, appropriate for most people, I'd say. It has one specific room where there is very strong strobe lighting. I'm not sure why, but there is. So the lighting is quite strong in there. Overall, there's not too many smoke effects, just like in Trailers, as I don't think I specified. There's not really smoke effects. But yeah, as I've said, it is quite claustrophobic in there. There are parts where you might want to duck down. The costumes, as you've probably figured out, are also pretty scary. People dressed up as kind of dolls. They're kind of quite realistic. Objects move in there. There's different types of toys and etc. There's Christmas toys in there, rocket cool toys like that, and then obviously you just got creepy dolls. It changes throughout as you go in with different sort of effects in each room. There are also sections where it gets very dark, including the beginning, or at least what it was last year during the pre-show. Now, DeadBeat. DeadBeat is a maze which more or less goes full in on it. It is extremely strong with the strobe lighting. It's very loud in there. The walls are very close together in some parts, but there are also fairly spacious rooms. The actors will get very close to you. They act very, like, monstery, very, like, almost soulless. There are weird creatures in there who are, like, trying to, in stories, like, take your soul, and etc. So this maze is pretty much, like, full-on in. It's very immersive. It's very well done. There are sections where actors will be above you, basically going over your heads, and different sort of effects like that. It really kind of does scare you in every single angle possible. From what I remember, it also, I think, includes air cannons. There are also very strong artificial smells. There are sections in this maze where it also gets very dark, and you can't see where the actors are going to come from. From my personal experience, I would say it probably has the strongest effects out of all of the mazes, and especially the lighting, as I've said. Overall, this maze does take a lot of different factors into account. Unlike every single one of the other mazes at the park, this basically doesn't give you much of a break at all in any points. Although the rooms and scenes do change in this maze, unlike in Trailers and Stitches, the theme kind of stays the same throughout the entire way, so what you get is what you get the entire way around, but that doesn't make it any less good. Now, last but definitely not least, survival games. Supposedly Thorpe Park's most intense and extreme scare maze, with it having strong lighting effects, air cannons, and even more. Inside this maze, actors are allowed to touch you. If physical contact, especially aggressive and sudden contact towards you, is something that makes you uncomfortable, this definitely is not the maze for you. Survival Games supposedly has new scenes for this year. However, we don't know how differently this is going to affect the maze. It could be completely different for all we know. For example, before it was a proper maze, and I assume it still is, but I reckon there's probably some parts of it that have changed, as originally they did say that this year, unlike the last few years, it was going to not intentionally split groups up. However, it's been changed, and now it says that they will still be splitting groups up. So, to be safe, expect to be split up from your friends. You will be locked inside of a small space. However, that's what we said last year, and we don't know if this is going to change this year. I personally would assume that this will stay the same. Basically, you are magnet locked inside your own cell before you are then taken out physically. This maze did originally have small maze sections, and I don't know how much, yet again, it's going to change. I would very much assume that it's going to be the same, and there are small break sections before each level begins. And I will also stress that the chances are it's going to stay as an actual proper maze this year, meaning it's not just a follow to the end and you actually have to guide your way out. Although in other mazes, such as Trailers and Stitches, they do use, like, physical props as weapons and, to scare you. In survival games, this is taken to a whole nother level, using real chainsaws without the chain and actual realistic looking weapons like axes and bats. There is also the possibility that you are made to crawl inside of a tunnel. This may happen depending on which route is taken. As well as touching you, actors may also try to force you to do things, such as crawling on your arms and legs, doing other things, and they will very much threaten you. Inside this maze, actors can even swear. When the maze begins, there's also the possibilities that actors will come out and physically drag you inside. Obviously by drag, not literally drag, but they will physically take you inside. Although it does sound extreme, just like the other mazes, you will be allowed to go in if you are in a wheelchair. This maze can depend on which route you take for how long it's going to be. It isn't too hard to get out, but it can at some points be confusing, and actors may intentionally put you off. Obviously, there are very dark sections, the soundtrack is very loud, and the lights are quite strong, as I've already stated. This year seems to be much different from the past 3 years, and it looks like it's going to have some sort of new monster within the arena and overall just area, with it being being to do with some sort of new theme to some sort of toxic substance. Overall, I'd say this year they're going for an even more intense experience, which is crazy. I advise that if you're at a nervous disposition, you carefully think about doing survival games. With the main part of the event out the way, I will quickly talk about the scare zones. Creature Campus, which is basically just a show area. It isn't a scary experience. It's a dance, light, and music type of show, so this would be suitable for anyone. Obviously, of course, that does mean there's strong lights, there's loud music. Actors can still interact with you, but they won't be too aggressive. Lucifer's Lair. It is also a show area with like music and dancing and entertainment like that, but it's also a scare area. There are like Lucifer's minions that will run around. They will interact with you, but they also won't be too bad. All they do is really just pull some funny faces, get close to you, make some funny noises. There's also Lucifer and the like female version of the devil is also like there. They might pick on a few people for fun and etc. The Crows of Mawkin Meadow, my personal favourite scare zone from, the previous years. We do have a new scare zone this year, so we will have to see. This is probably the scariest scare zone which we know of so far. They will definitely get close to you. They're in creepy costumes. It's a multi-route scare zone. It's very well decorated and created. There's a lot of hay bales. There is a lot of smoke effects, lighting effects. There is music. It's not too bad though. Yeah, it's definitely a creepy experience. It's not it's not too soft, but it's not too crazy. They will basically, it's like all of them are hiding around corners. You don't really know where they're going to be, and etc. like that. There's a lot of anticipation. Before the Mawkin Meadow actually opens, there is also the fact that they roam around the park before, as I said, the Mawkin Meadow actually opens. It's a good thing to do in the day if you're nervous for scare mazes, so that you get the kind of idea of what they could be like, because it is a little bit kind of a maze, but not exactly to the extent of what the mazes actually are like. If you've done the Crows, then you would probably know, or you may not know, that they do change it every year. The layout changes. So this year it's looking to be probably the best that we've had. There's a lot of fencing this year, a lot of multi-routes, as I've already said. So it's going to be I'd say that it's a zone which is basically suitable for most people. The previous few years there have been actors who have been humans, warning you not to go in, or half-turned crow people and etc. So there are some actors that will talk, potentially. Anything else that might be coming this year, it's probably going to be similar to before, but overall it doesn't look like it's going to be anything crazy compared to the last few years. Probably better than the last few years, as the layout is looking very good, but overall it's nothing to be too worried about if you've done it already anyway. Now, Purgatory Town. I can't say much about Purgatory Town, as I'm yet to experience it. Fright Nights hasn't started, but I don't think it's going to be too bad, especially as the Crows of Mawkin Meadow is in its own little spot. It's all in its own little area, while this is dead in the middle of Big Easy Boulevard. The description is that the condemned wander the streets praying for their souls to cross over. I do think that it's going to be a little bit more of a jumpy scare zone compared to Lucifer's Lair and Creature Campus. Obviously I can't confirm this yet, but I do think they're probably going to go over more of the Crows of Mawkin Meadow style. There's also the possibility that they don't, as it also might be difficult to do in such a busy area, seeing as Big Easy Bumpers, Sunset Cinema, Detonator, and Nemesis Inferno are all very close to the area that it's in. In fact, I wouldn't really say close to the area, but they are in that area, so it's going to be interesting to see how it works. Obviously, if you don't want to experience the scare zone, there are going to be ways around it, just a little bit more of a walk. And remember, you can use the no scare lanyard. And before I end the video, I want to share some quick details that I think, may be a good idea to share about it, the 4D experience in Sunset Cinema. So, of course, it has very strong lighting, it has water effects, the seats violently move, there are smoke effects. It's just everything that you would expect in a 4D cinema. I hope this video helped, especially with the scare mazes, with those being, the main attraction of Fright Nights. So please let me know if this has helped at all, what I can improve for the future. So thank you.